What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Light Heart and Center channel. Today, I just want to read a letter that I wrote to humanity, to all of humanity, and I wrote it a few years ago, back around COVID times, and when I realized how divided everybody really is, and how we became even more divided after that, and it just spiraled out from there. Um, it's called Humanity's Great Divide, and it explains doesn't really explain the divide. I mean, it's obvious. We already know we're divided. It's more about what we need to do. So, let me just read it real quick. It's a really short message. Humanity's Great Divide, a message of hope. May this message promptly reach to the depths of your heart. I know the world may seem bleak right now. These are uncertain times, and it's hard to know who or what to believe anymore. People have never been more divided. How can we even begin to bridge this great of a division? Well, the answer is simpler than it seems. First, we must realize that someone is behind the curtains pulling the strings. I think most of us have realized that. We have purposely been turned against each other. Misinformation has created hate, and our hate is being used against us to keep us divided. In this way, people have been controlled and conquered over and over again throughout history. And here we are repeating it. Once we understand this, we may then be able to look past our differences and stand together as one. Let us set aside our egos and forget about who's wrong or who's right, or left and right. um, we must not give in to the hate, rather we must be the light we wish to see in the world. Stay centered in your heart and be an example for those who have lost hope in humanity. Show kindness in moments of pain, and be loving in the face of hate. To create peace, we ourselves must become peaceful. My hope is that you look into your own heart for answers. What you feel in your heart and soul to be true, no matter how wild it may sound to others. Be your authentic self and share your magic with the world. I think it's kind of funny that I said, stay centered in your heart. And this was long before I even thought about naming this channel that. So, the main thing I want to say is there's so many ways we are divided. Even the people within the spiritual community are divided because we have people that believe all these different things, and that's okay. And a lot of the beliefs actually contradict themselves. So you get two different versions of people. You get authentic spiritual people, and then you get fake spiritual people who are just trying to make a quick buck. And they're just putting on the image, a show, and in real life, they're actually fucking miserable. But the other spiritual people, they're actually doing the work, the inner work, the shadow work, the light work. They're doing both. They're finding balance and harmony, and they might be miserable too, but at least they're working on it. And this divide has gone even deeper and deeper. And as far as racism goes, there's a reverse racism. And people don't realize it, but when you're proud of your race, it actually comes off as racism to any other race, because depending on how you say it, and most people will say things not realizing that it's coming off racist. Um, Let me think on this for a sec while I drink my coffee. So I think the only way to get rid of that division there within racism is to stop playing the victim card, and that's what it is. Um, I don't want to name any specific races, but there are lots of minorities that claim to be the victim still when they weren't even alive when shit happened. And there's shit happening now, and yes, it's happening to minorities. Well, I don't even know if we're minorities anymore. I'm mixed race. I don't even look at race, because to even think about it and talk about it, it's kind of silly, because then we're just keeping it alive. But at this point, I think we need to at least talk somewhat about it, because it's getting to the point where we're creating more division and not even realizing it by playing this victim card. Oh, you hurt me, you'll hurt me. We're not moving on. We're not healing. We're not creating those connections and bridges and moving on. How can we heal our racial wounds, if you will, our cultural wounds, if we're not really willing to let it go and move on? I'm sure my ancestors were enslaved, because not just black people and people of color were enslaved. Lots of Irish immigrants and other immigrants were enslaved, and it didn't matter what color you were hundreds of years ago. It just mattered what status you had, what village you came from. You know, it's the same thing that's been going on forever. It's all about the status quo. And if you have a title, you have power. And that's not the way it should be. Nobody should have more power than anyone else. We should all be equal on this earth. We should all look upon each other as equals and forget about race, because race is eventually, we're all just going to be a bunch of blobs, of blurbs mixed with hundreds of races. It's not even going to matter anymore. I mean, I got at least like 7 or 8 different ethnicities, and I just actually found out recently I'm 1% African. So we're all fucking human, and it's crazy, and we're all living on this planet together. So we should learn to respect each other and just be more kind and mindful. It's just like having a roommate. you know, Coexisting. Whoever thought it would be so hard? So to bridge all these divisions, and there's many more divisions: gender, medical status, back when the vaccines, whether you were vaccinated or not, if you were pro-choice, abortions, all that. Can we just have our opinions, voice them, but not force them? Voice, but not force? I think it's important to voice your opinion, but don't make someone else feel like they're stupid, or just don't be mean about it. We can talk, we can have healthy conversations and learn and grow together. And it starts with becoming mature. And I think enlightenment is nothing more than just becoming more mature. And the higher levels of enlightenment you reach, the more mature you become. But when you reach that first initial enlightenment, you just realize, oh shit, what have I been doing with my whole life? And then you start living, and you start realizing that you haven't been living. And then you just realize all the things that you've been putting off or burying within yourself: emotions, baggage, shit that you don't want to deal with, traumas. You realize you got to deal with it. That's the hard part about waking up and having that spiritual awakening, is because now you have to deal with everything that you've been putting off. And the beautiful thing about it is, once you do that and you come out on the other side, holy shit, it's fucking magical. Every day is just full of magic. Even a cloudy day like this, I see nothing but beauty in the storm and the cleansing of the air and the fresh new air that's going to come in after the storm. And there's so much beauty to be seen in the darkness and in the light, and we just need to find that beauty. And if we can see the beauty in each other, then we're already on a good path. Our evolution is going to start with the heart. We need to open our heart, but that's going to sometimes take it to be cracked open. It's going to be shattered. You're going to have to pick up the pieces. But then you'll realize what's important to you. what's really important. And that's people and connections and love. So cheers to that. Let's start building bridges. Let's keep going. Let's keep fighting against this oppression of greed, because it's greed that runs the world. That's the last thing I wanted to say. Everything that's happening is being propelled by the greed of greedy men. And they pretty much have monopolized the entire world, and it's businesses and corporations that are running everything. And everything you see is a distraction and an illusion to keep you from finding your true self, to keep you from stepping into your power and awakening your true fiery will, so you'll stand up and stop taking the BS, and we will no longer lie down anymore. Let's go. You got this. I love you all. Peace. I gotta go to work. Do that 9 to 5 because I'm trying to get out of the grind so I can get into nature. Let's do this.